78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. And we're back another Saturday. I'm coming in from outside, so my shades are still a little tinted. I'm not trying to be cool, I promise. These aren't sunglasses. Good morning if you are listening in. If you are watching, I missed you. Welcome back. I am here on a beautiful Saturday. Today, I can't wait till the show is over. I love the show. But after the show, I got another adventure that I'm going on, and I'm doing some glamping this weekend in the pod style tents that have the big wide open windows. You can see the environment and you can see the water. I'm really excited about today here in Okinawa. Beautiful, perfect weather for it. It's in between seasons right now, so it's just amazing. Just the way you can wake up and just, it's not too hot, it's not cool yet. It's just it's that perfect window of time. The water looks beautiful right now in Okinawa. Let me tell you, the water is just the blue when you wake up in the morning. I think right now when I'm waking up, it's still low tide. But as I go through the day, I'm watching the water slowly rise up. So it's almost that kayaking season for me again. Y'all know it. A 78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. All right, so I'm going to do this while these things stop their little tent. Yeah, I am the positive vibes guy. And I had a long, hard talk with some of my friends and mentors about how I should start today's show. And based on what was on my heart over the past, I can say this year. But recently, over this past week, probably more than ever. So I want to say this. I want to say that I am proud of every opportunity I've ever had to be here where I am today. I am excited to be at the finish line for my day job, but you guys know what that is. And my last year doing that so I can really fully commit to my passions, things that I love to do, my little side quests, what we call them right now, side projects. So I'm excited about what is next. What breaks my heart is to see what's happening in the world. And I know it's like, Winsome, you're a positive vibes guy. Yeah, so I will try to put a positive spin on it, but I'm going to be authentic and I'm going to be very genuine, as I always am. I want to say right now when we watch and I turn on the news, and I'm playing catch up with what's going on back home, it's kind of like watching a scary movie or a drama show or something you see on Netflix or HBO special, something crazy like that. That can't be happening. And as it unveils or you would just say as it unfolds, it's real. These things in the world that are really sad back home, that are really heartbreaking, are happening. And, you know, I was going to do, like I always do, some quotes from Dr. King or some folks who, you know, unifying quotes. But to be authentic, to be genuine, I have to tell you, we can do better. And when I say we can do better, I mean as human beings, people who are in certain positions and spaces and places to make change can do better. It's so... The home, and I won't say the world, but I will honestly say there's a lot of places in the world today that are so divided. There are a lot of places in the world today that they treat people different based on certain things about those people, characteristic, colors, gender, which is so sad. Because if you truly were able to see people from a different lens and take a step back from, even from me here, when I'm watching and meeting people from all over the world and listening to their stories and what they've wanted to achieve in life, what they have and haven't done, the vision they have for themselves and their family, kids, the goals they have, the heart that they have, men, women, kids, older people. Just, it's so incredible to learn these things. But there's places where those conversations never happen. There's places right now, home, where people won't have a conversation with you because of something about you that they don't want to care to know more about. There's decisions being made right now that are heartbreaking. Things happening. Someone, You guys know the storyline. I'm not going to go on what date and time this week. Something just happened really tragic in the news this last couple of days. As I'm watching it, I'm like, wow. Because there's a phrase and there's a couple of things that I've heard over the week. But I do understand that when it starts being about people and it starts being about money, power, and having to choose sides, bad things happen. The impact changes. I encourage you, if no matter what you do, who you are, and what you've done up to this point, keep in mind that being kind, being better, being different, purposefully, to make sure that the person to your left and to your right is able to thrive in whatever space that you guys are in, that you're pushing and supporting each other, no matter who that person is. Be a person of good character. Be a person of genuine kindness. Be a person, when you're meeting people, meet people with true curiosity. Curiosity, learn the stories. Some of the most incredible people that I've met in the last 30 years almost have been people that have had absolutely no similarities to my storyline. Nothing in common when it comes to how we were raised, where we were raised, what our background is. But when we started talking and I listened to those conversations openly and curious with a lot of curiosity, it changed everything. I was like, wow, that's credible. That's incredible. I want to go there now. I want to see your country. I want to visit I want to see what the story that you're telling me, because me trying to picture it, being here with you, present, being open and curious about your story, I'm learning so much. Wow. So I say all this to say, before I jump into today's topic, 100%, for anyone who's going through something right now, suffering, as a result of decisions being made around you, for you, etc. I'm praying for you. Thinking about you. Something that's happened that has impacted you. I'm sorry. And I wish that I can change it. I wish that I can, just with some magic words and actions can change the way. But I'm just watching these things happen, and it's heartbreaking. And I know for me, when things happen in the world and where you don't have any control, you really try to focus on your locus of control, which of course is you, your family, your kids, your immediate. But even raising my kids, I'm like, don't do what you know is wrong because other people are doing it. Don't do what you've always learned. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. Don't do what you've always known is not right because someone else is doing it. Don't act out of character because someone else is trying to make that seem like it's normal or it's okay or it's the new normal. Don't do it. Because when you start and you fall into that, now that's going to be part of your DNA as well. When others around you are doing things that you know in your heart, your mind, your soul, your gut are wrong, does not stand for what you stand for, don't fall in line. You got to be mentally, emotionally stronger than that. See, what happens is if I don't go with it, then I'm against it. I don't want to be against it. No. Hold your ground. Be genuine. Be authentic. Be consistent with who you are and your character and as a person, as a human being. There's a lot of things that I see here and I'm watching that I'm like, I will not be a part of that. I will not do that. I will not go along with that. And I feel sorry for some of the folks who have absolutely no choice based on the papers they sign or the jobs they do, that they have to. It breaks my heart for you. But I'm trying to keep myself, my family, my friends, folks that I love out of those situations. Because I know that the world can do better. I know that as human beings, it's like upside down world in some of the things I'm watching right now. I'm like, I thought I saw this on Netflix a few years back. Is this really happening? So what are you doing? Starting with you. Because they say, what is that? You might not be the person that changes it, but you can spark the mind of the person that will. And if over the next few years, it's going to be a lot of crazy things that you're going to see, you're going to hear. But how do you get through it? How do you navigate it? And how do you navigate those that you care about through it? Because that's your locus of control. You. So today, what we're talking about, because times are rough, because there's some crazy things happening in the world today, we're going to talk about specifically one of my favorite tools that Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar and the Happiness Studies Academy launched, and really have shared the concepts throughout the world, in which becoming a part of that sharing of messaging, I wanted to kind of bring back today. And that message is the SPIRE model. Now, if you're not tracking what the SPIRE model is, I'll get into that real briefly. That's the spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional well-being. How are you managing your spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional aspects of you? What work are you putting into those things to build a stronger mind, a stronger life, a stronger world around you, to be more connected with those people that mean something to you? I want to talk about those things because we get so caught up with what's going on around us. But we have to stay focused, and we have to still pay attention to what's going on within us. And if we stop doing that, the moment you stop working on you, that's when the world starts taking advantage of you, because you don't have control of you. So guess what? We're going to do it for you. So when you take control of you, you're taking your life back. I say these things all the time: strong mind, strong life. And the only way to get to a strong mind and a strong life is to take your life back. So every tool that I teach, from emotional intelligence to the SPIRE model to growth mindsets to mindfulness, all of these different things that we break down, and it's just 4 examples, I'm always trying to teach you how to take your life back. Stay in control of you. So, spiritually, we'll start there. I got about 2 minutes and we'll roll back into the next segment. But spiritually, how are you staying connected to those things? And when you hear spiritually, I think we hear a lot about religion, right? And I remember that. I think I even had a chaplain when I was teaching this on base that wanted me to lean more towards religion. And I'm like, man, see, the thing about it is that's not the focus and the only purpose of spiritual well-being. That's who you are, your sense of self, your connectivity to the things around you, your appreciation, your gratitude for the life that you have and the every new day, being present, being mindful, understanding that every day is a blessing, understanding that your sense of smell, touch, hearing, all of these things are blessings, because not everybody in the world has them. And if you are living a healthy life and connected to these things that are so important around us, I'm looking outside as the sun is beaming in through this window, and I'm seeing the clouds. I'm seeing the blue skies. I'm seeing how the world has over centuries shaped itself, and how the millennia has shaped itself, and how I'm looking at the greens and the trees. And now we start thinking about technology, because in between that, you got the streets and the cars. Like, just really taking it all in and having an opportunity to do that. Spiritually, connecting to it. So we talk about different ways to stay connected, right? And we're going to talk about that after the break. But how do you maintain connectivity and appreciation and gratitude for all that you have and all that you are? How do you not get caught up in what's going on in the world? Like I told you, I always give it a few minutes, bam, and I'm like, wow, it's like a TV show. But I focus back on my locus of control. I focus back what's going on in my world, in my movie. Because I know if I'm making sure that what's going on inside me is right, that those around me are getting the best version of me. And if someone's having a bad day or going through something, I can uplift them. I can give them what I have, right? And so if you're connecting the dots yet, over why I talk about what I talk about on this show and why I try to build people up and give them those nuggets is because I need you to be the best version of you. We'll be right back. .6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome, and we are back. So we were talking about spiritual well-being when we came back. Today we're covering down on the SPIRE model. Today I told you I need you to reconnect with yourself. I need you to remember who you are. I need you to pay attention to what's going on inside of you. I need you to make sure that you're building you up to be the strongest version of you so that when you are the best version of you, that is what other people get. That's what other people see. That's what other people need. The world is going to beat you up. Are you strong enough to fight back? Are you strong enough to continue to stand on your own 2 feet? Are you strong enough to see it for what it is? Are you mentally strong enough to not get sucked into the status quo, but to be strong enough to stand up for what you know is right? Not based on opinion, but based on what is right as a human being. How do you build somebody up spiritually? Are you living mindfully and purposefully? Spiritual well-being, 2 questions. Are you living mindfully and purposefully? Let's dig a little deeper. Do you experience a sense of purpose at home and at work? Do you experience a sense of purpose and meaning in those places? Are you present? Are you mindful? So when we talk about spiritual well-being, when we talk about building yourself up, when we talk about are you present, are you living purposefully and mindfully? Think about what you do. How do you see the basic things in your life today? Just the little things like, say, your job. Think about how you picture it. I'm going to give you 3 ways people see their jobs, right? It can be a job, a career, or a calling. And when you see it as a job, this is something I have to do. I got to go and do it, right? If you see it as a career, this is something I'm building up on. I'm growing, kind of like myself. I'm about to retire, so I'm building to get to that point. I know there's a finish line, an end goal. It's not something I have to do. It's something I get to do. When you see it as a calling, this is what I was made to do. Think about that for a second. I got to do this. I have to. I get to. This is what I was made to do. Job, career, calling. How do you see the situation that you're in? And how do you get past if you know you're seeing this as a job, but you really want to try to make it a career? What things do you ask yourself? What do you do for yourself mentally? What do you, we call them, I heard, mental gymnastics do you do to get yourself there, to stay motivated, to make sure that you're finding a sense of purpose in what you do? There was a story that's told, and I believe Happier No Matter What, where it's talking about the boss who bought in kids and the teleworkers. They were the ones who take the call trying to get money for the college, for the alumni funds and all this. And they're getting beat up on the phone, hung up on in some cases. And And one day the manager saw this, and he saw that people's sense of belonging, their sense of making this impactful or being impactful to them was gone. So what he did was he started calling in people who were affected by the things that they do. Imagine that. I'm trying to get money for these students and for people who probably couldn't afford it. And my boss stops time for us, and he brings in some of these students that are actually benefiting from what I'm doing. And they talk to us, and they say thank you, and they appreciate what we're doing. And I get to see how it's literally impacting somebody's life, the hours and the time and the energy that I'm putting in. I'm changing someone's life. And not every job's going to give you that. It's not going to connect you and allow you to feel fulfilled immediately. But sometimes you have to find it for yourself how to be connected. Oprah said it best when she said, sometimes you have to do, and I'm going to paraphrase, what you need to do until you get to do what you want to do. So how do you build that in? Okay, cool. Well, I'm working this 9 to 5. On the side, when I'm at lunch, I'm working on this project, side quest. And then after work or before work, I'm working on this, because this is just a means to an end. But it's allowing me to do these things that I'm truly passionate about. How do you flip it on its head? And are you capable of doing so? A lot of times people think they are, but when they actually get into the game or when they're doing something, they find themselves being miserable. They don't feel a sense of purpose. They don't feel tied to it. They don't feel passionate about it. Every career that I've ever had, the best parts of it was when I realized how I was helping other people. When I realized that I was passionate about certain aspects of that job, and I tried to just build on those. Quick story, I was a personnelist, and I wasn't really excited about being behind a computer, but during my job in human resources, I really enjoyed training others how to do what I was doing. So in order to be the best trainer that I could, I wanted to master what was in front of me so I can train other people. And it was my favorite thing to do. Fast forward 27 years, I'm teaching, coaching, facilitating, and training other people to build themselves up to be the best version of them. You see, it all connects when you find it, when you connect the dots. And sometimes in those days, you don't see it. So even back then, when I'm doing the work that I'm having to do to today, I couldn't wait to get out of there and go play football. And then when I'm done playing ball, I realized when I got to a certain point, I want to start doing this for other people. I want to start coaching. That passion of playing sport, my passion for the sport, grew into and transitioned into my passion to teach others how to do what I loved. And we were, what I believe, in San Antonio, one of the winningest flag football teams of all time for the United States Air Force. And we had a great, amazing team for years, going to national championships in Florida. Not all teams get to do those things, especially military teams, getting funded by our unit or by our base to go represent the United States Air Force in flag football national championships in Florida. I would never forget opportunities like that. But that was my side quest, and I had to do my 9 to 5 or 7:30 to 8 or 7:30 to 5, whatever it was. I had to do that job so I can go out and do what I loved. And then guess what? As I grew older, coaching's taking too much out of me. I got family. Guess what? Football don't got the knees and ankles for it anymore. But now there's something else I'm passionate about because I want to grow in this area. So being mindful and understanding what those things are, and then helping other people connect to what they're passionate about, because you cracked the code for you. When you crack codes for you, the goal isn't just to have that code, cheat code, write it in a book and keep it forever. It's to help others grow. That's why I love being a mentor. That's why I love being a coach, because I'm able to help other people crack that code for themselves. Another piece of that is being mindful, being present. One of the ways we can do that, of course, is being mindful, and you can do the true mindfulness exercises. You can find them online. I'm looking at one right now on my notes, like the formal meditations where you can actually listen to someone walk you through prompts. And once you got it, you can do these prompts for yourself when it comes to the breathing. Commander John McCaskill yesterday on our video during our class was talking about box breathing. I actually went through another class in Franklin Covey's course where they're talking about box breathing, and it has the boop, boop, boop. It's crazy the little things that you can do to rewire your brain to be mindful, present, to be at peace with what's going on around you, to block out the noise for a second, to take your energy back. And when you learn to block out the noise, and people are like, what do you mean by that? You blocking out the noise like noise canceling headphones? Exactly. But not sound. When you're able to be present, not what happened yesterday, what's going on in the news, what's going on TV, what's happening at work, but when you're ready to block or able to block out the noise and focus on what's happening in your life, in your mind, at this moment, at this space, nothing else matters. I have nowhere to go and nothing to do than be here right now, breathing. That's the formal stuff. And it's powerful when you get it down because you're at peace. You're putting your body and your mind at peace. So no matter what you're walking into next, hey, I push pause. I push time out for myself. And there's other ways. If you didn't know, there's other ways to be mindful. Listening mindfully. If you didn't know, Harvard Business Review has a whole book on this with some great articles. Mindful listening. Listening differently. Connecting with people differently. There's a book I shared with my coaching team that we're using in interrogation skills with how to read cues and people's nonverbals differently. It's so much if you're truly mindful about the way you interact with the world around you. It changes everything. So I say all that to say this. Mindfulness is a lot more than just meditation, humming, yoga mats. No, mindfulness is about being present and connected with not just who you are and what's going on with you in this moment, your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, connecting and pushing pause and breathing and resetting and creating those neural pathways of positive energy, regardless of what's going on around you. And trust me, I got to master that on a daily basis because the world is crazy. And we all know this. It's like, what is that? The world is going 90 miles per hour and you're just trying to cruise control 50 to live, right? But in order to keep up, you either got to go 75, 80. But the point is, how do you block out the noise, protect your peace so that you can still maintain your character, your kindness, your integrity? How do you do that? Another way of being mindful is disconnecting to reconnect. Like I'm doing after this show. No electronics, nothing connected to me. Just going out into the wilderness of this island, the village side, the other side up north, into one of those igloo type hotel room glamping. I ain't going to be outside with the wilderness and bugs. I don't do the bugs, right? A little bit of glamping, but with the large windows so I could just see the world and just take it all in. Just watch the sunset differently. Experience something differently without having to have my phone up taking 50 pictures just to take it all in. The number one rule for tonight, do not take pictures. Take it in. Next time, come out here and take some pictures. This time, just take it all in. I might get a video of a quick pan, but I'm not living through the phone. I'm living through the experience. Because the experience is what goes with me. A picture or two, if you've lived the experience, you can go back and live vicariously through that photo. But you got to live it first. You got to experience it first. And last but not least, savoring things differently. Imagine that. Like the moment I'm talking about right now. The experience I'm talking about right after this. Savoring, when I say take it all in. We have an example I use for the class where I throw up a meal behind me on the wall and we're talking about what's on the picture, but I don't look at it. I tell everybody exactly what's on the plate from memory. And I tell them the way that I remember this is because I savored those moments, that meal, those chews, the taste, the texture. I'll talk a little bit more about this after the break. We'll see you in a second. 78.6 FM. 78.6 FM, positive vibes will win some, and we're back again. I always try to smile coming back from the break because it's a good day. It's good news. It's a good opportunity to speak life into my friends and family that are listening. So we're going back and we're talking about being able to savor, and savoring not just meals and what you eat and what you drink, savoring experiences. So yes, in the class, I use the picture of the meal, and I tell everybody the reason I remember this meal that I had now over 2 years ago so intimately is because I savored the experience. What does that mean, Winsome? That means that every flavor, every moment of that meal, the colors, the texture, I took it all in. So when I show this picture now, it's kind of like I remember exactly what it felt like, smelled like, sounded like, because I savored that experience. And if we can do this with food, hear me out. If we can savor food and we have a way of doing it, are we doing this with our experiences? When your kid comes home from school, if you have children, and you're having those conversations about how their day went, are you still thinking about work? Are you still thinking about what you got to do tomorrow? Or are you present with them right there in their story as they're sharing what happened with you, to you, or with you? Are you with him? Are you present? Because there's a lot of people who they're in the room, but they're really not present in a conversation. You don't think your kids know when you're not listening to them? You don't think your person that you say you love knows when you're not really in the conversation, when you're not really present there, when you're not really listening to them or taking in the story or visualizing what they're saying? The greatest gift is your presence to anybody that you care about. And one of my favorite quotes is from Albert Einstein, and he says exactly that. He says, presence is a gift. We can find spiritual well-being in just about everything we do. And this is what he says. Albert Einstein says, there are only two ways to live your life. As though nothing is a miracle, or as though everything is a miracle. And I'll tell you, as I count down to my finish line for this day job, I'm going to tell you, every day that I have on this island is a miracle to me. And I look for something new that I didn't see the day before. I look for a different view, a different perspective, a different vision, a different sound, a different smell, a different side of the island. If I can get there, it's always something new because I truly want to see every day as a miracle. And I believe that. So I ask all of those when you're talking about spiritual well-being, because a lot of people get stuck in religion when you're talking about spiritual. Spirituality is really about connectedness, seeing life as a gift, appreciating the little things, understanding that every day is a blessing, realizing, like Albert Einstein said, that we can see life as in two ways, as if nothing is a miracle, as if everything is a miracle. I choose to see the miracle in every single day. Every person that comes and shares their time with me, that's a blessing. Every story that I get to hear about, every interview that we get to do in here, every guest, that's a blessing. So we talk about physical well-being, and I'm going to sum this up pretty quick to say, physically, I want to be here on this earth as long as I can. That's as long as I can. I want to see my kids. I want to see my grandkids graduate high school. I want to experience that. I want them to be able to talk about grandpa and be able to tell them old stories about when I was on a radio show in Okinawa. Come on, man. I want to be able to do these things. Let me tell you about when I travel. Pop, tell me when you went to Korea. Tell me about Greenland. I want to be able to share these stories, not just with my military friends and my co-workers here, but I want to be able to tell those stories to the people I love and show pictures and share the experiences. It's real. But you can't do that if you don't fight for your tomorrow. Physical well-being isn't just about sleeping and lifting weights, going to the gym, and what you eat. It's so much more. It's understanding that your body and your mind are one. When you understand that your body and your mind are one, and then you take care of one significantly, you're taking care of the other, and vice versa. If I'm taking care of my mind, I have a strong mind, strong life, and I know that continuing to build a strong body is part of keeping my mind strong, then I'm going to do so. And if I'm taking care of my body, what that's doing is it's directly feeding into my mind. Think about how your body and your mind are not just connected from the interactions, but all the blood that's rushing through, the flow, the different fluids that you send to your brain just from being active every day. When your brain is going through something, how it responds to your body, or how your body responds to those feelings, emotions, stress, anything that's going on with your body, understanding that your body and your mind are connected is a cheat code in life. And when you're not taking care of one, I promise you, you're not taking care of the other. So understanding those things and why it's significant is because I know that there are multiple ways to recover. And did you know that in our world, our society to this day, not many people take advantage of recovery in different ways because they don't understand the importance of recovering. There's three I'm going to give you today. One is micro recovery. That's taking those short breaks, like the gym, 15-minute breaks here and there, getting a breather, getting up, stretching, walking around the office, talking to people before you jump back into game mode if you're working. Even at home, getting up every few minutes and going and doing some push-ups. I love these people that, hey man, I'm watching Netflix this weekend, but in between episodes, they're doing push-ups or jumping jacks because they know they're doing something that's away from their normal routine, but they're still keeping it together. They're adding something in there to keep their bodies moving, their minds moving, right? So it's 100% cool to take those micro breaks, right? But the next one is the mid-level breaks. That's when somebody takes a day off from work, gets a good night's sleep, makes that a point, makes that a goal. Now, I will say this because I understand that not everybody is able, based on circumstances, to get a full night's sleep every night. But when you make it a priority to get a good night's sleep as often as possible, when you make it a priority to when you know that you are overwhelmed, you're at your point that you need a break, and you've got your days, you take that day for you, for your family. We call it taking a knee in my day job. When you know it's a day to take a knee, that you do so. The reason why that's so important and why a lot of people may not realize this is when you do that, you're allowing your body and your mind to reset. I have a friend right now. My dude's a genius. He builds all the time. You give him a problem, he's going to find a solution. But the guy never sleeps. My biggest fear, because I understand these things, is when you never sleep, when you never allow your body, your mind to reset, you're going to crash. Well, I can sleep anywhere. I can do anything. Yeah, but your body has ways of telling you when it needs to. And if you're not able to control that, you don't see that coming, it'll be a bad day for you. So understanding how these breaks, rest, a full night's sleep, and getting them are important is very important if you're really trying to take care of your body and your mind. Not a lot of people do it. You know why I know not a lot of people do it? I'll get to the next one. So the next one is going to be your macro recovery. Macro recovery is that person that's able to take 2 or 3 weeks off, go on a cruise with the kids, get away, not think about their job, not think about responsibilities back home. They just take a break. They took care of what they needed to leading up to that break, and that break is their time to reset, rejuvenate, re-energize, and then come back for whatever the world has for them. Now, I'm going to tell you that people struggle with taking macro breaks. The reason why our studies show that people struggle is because they are still tethered to their jobs. They are still tethered to the responsibilities they have. Especially for certain communities, certain jobs, some people just can't mentally disconnect to enjoy it, to really take it all in. And guess what? A lot of those people don't even use, and what you can look at the numbers, right? Don't take it from me. A lot of those people don't use their vacation days every year. We have in my day job what we call use or lose. Look, if you don't use them, you're going to lose them. Think about how many jobs, careers, and people on these paths, especially the most ambitious type of individuals, don't use those days to recharge, reset, reconnect with themselves, and they're just moving. So I say all that because a lot of people don't know about the 3 ways to recover, the 3 ways that we teach, which of course are micro, mid-level, and macro that I covered. A lot of other things that people don't understand that are significant when it comes to growth in life is move as much as you can. Do something. You don't have to go out there and run a mile and a half, but you can get on a treadmill. You can walk around a track. I love seeing here where I live and in this village, there's always somebody walking. There's always somebody jogging. There's always somebody doing something active. I love going to certain parts of this village and certain parts of the morning, and you can see groups stretching together, doing yoga, doing something amazing. It's just move. Those limbs you have, that body you have is meant to move. Everything that's built, everything that's flowing through you, it requires movement. The only time that you don't require any movement is guess when you're resting. Or if you have a job that doesn't allow you to do it as much as you would like to. Another one that we talk about is blue zones. A lot of people don't pay attention enough. We live, if you've ever seen the Netflix special, we live in a blue zone right now. You don't think I'm paying attention to what people who live longer than the average lifespan are doing? Especially if I'm somebody who wants to see my grandkids' kids. I want to see, hey, you see your great granddad? Yeah, man, that dude's still up there walking around. I love going to the lighthouse here in Yomitan and climbing up to the top and just spending time. I just climbed 99 steps. I'm going to enjoy this view. And then I'm going to go back down those 99 steps and I'm going to walk around the trail. Because that is one of those things that reminds me to keep moving. And if you keep moving, at the end of the day, you are telling a story with the moves that you make. The story I'm telling every time I go to there is I care enough to show up. I care enough to climb these 99 steps. I care enough to give myself space up here, to give myself some peace, blocking out all the noises going on down there. And then when I walk back down, I'm continuing to sort out my thoughts and then gear up for whatever's coming next. Blue zones. Consistency in all of these things is the key. People who live longer in the blue zones, they eat better consistently. They work out consistently. They de-stress consistently, meaning they don't hold on to stress like a lot of countries do. Did you know that stress actually takes away from your life expectancy? Did you know that stress has a neurophysical response or reaction on you? So when you're not dealing with stress, navigating those feelings, do you know that you are actually taken away from your life expectancy? So I say all that to say this. A lot of people don't take advantage of their physical well-being, or they take advantage of it, take it for granted until they don't have something no more. And then all of a sudden it's an emergency. You got to do different things, right? You got to take care of yourself differently. You want to do things differently. No, if you start now and you are consistent, you're already setting your mind and your body on a trajectory to be around a lot longer than you probably expected to be. To do things you never expected to be able to. To be something you probably never expected to be. I love seeing the stories of the 50, 60-year-olds that are just getting in the gym, and then to see their story, their transformation. They come out there with the old people muscles. But some of them look better than some 30-year-olds that I know and some 20-year-olds. They're consistent. They're disciplined. They're hungry for life. They're doing it the right way. They're not settling for what someone else told them a 50 and a 60-year-old are supposed to look like. Some of the most beautiful people in the world right now. If you ever look at some of these people in Hollywood that have the money to come up with a workout plan, a fitness plan, an eating plan, all that nutrition plan, and look how young they still look compared to what we used to look like. I can name a few. Y'all know them. But the reason is that they're doing the things that science is telling them to do to maintain a certain look and longevity. I'm giving you some cheat codes, man, and I hope that you guys look into some of these because it's really not as hard. Well, it's hard for a lot of people to be consistent, but it's really not a secret what it takes to be around as long as possible. Take care of your mind, take care of your body. Your mind and your body are one. Physical. Intellectual well-being is talking about what are you feeding your mind? What are you giving your mind? What have you learned in the past week? What are your top current interests? What are some challenges that you're facing? And how are you facing those challenges in a creative way? Who are 3 individuals that you've chosen to learn from and that you're taking in either from a podcast, a book, or in person that you're learning from, that you're actually getting information and knowledge from? 78.6 FM Positive Vibes with Winsome. If you're listening in, we'll be right back talking about intellectual well-being. .6 FM Positive Vibes of Winston. When we came back, we were talking about intellectual well-being. What are you feeding your mind? So we're talking about the body and the mind being one, but how many people actually spend time talking about what you feed your mind? And so I did some research, I did some studying, and it's crazy because I was considering going from here, 78.6 FM, Yomitan, Positive Vibes. We just launched a business, I'll talk about that a little bit differently. Just launched the business, going out to do more things with coaching, teaching, facilitating out here. So, okay, how do I take some of this and put it like a YouTube channel? So my thing was, let me study YouTube. And I studied for the last week and a half. I've been just studying like some of the people who've been successful, some of the people who failed. What were some of the trends? And, you learn a lot about people stealing information from others, like copying and pasting and putting their picture on it, or having reaction videos, which is really just stealing other people's video from TikTok and put it on Twitter, or not on Twitter, put it on YouTube, but it's a reaction video. And so you're really basically just stealing data and just reacting to it, but you're playing someone else's video. It's not yours. And then people started realizing that's theft, so they started giving credit to the reaction video. But it's crazy how I'm learning about like the downfall of some of these people who have platforms. And they can be talking about some great stuff, but a lot of it is borrowed information. And so that was when I was like, man, I'm glad I'm learning this, because I'm studying. If I do put myself out there, there's a high probability that somebody will slap their face on it and just repeat what I'm saying. And there's people by page scripted, stealing scripts from people and just repeating their message. How do you prepare for that? How do you mentally, this is from my heart, but I'm watching some kid, 19, 21-year-old, repeating it. It's great that they're watching and great that they're learning, but without even understanding the heart behind it, just for views and clicks. So those are things that I was learning and understanding and studying. And I say all that because intellectual well-being is exactly that. What are you feeding your mind? Because whatever you're putting in is what you're giving the world, because that's what you're creating as your ID, your DNA. What's in here is what's coming out here, right? And how you manage what's out here. So I always tell like my kids, like I'll say, hey, if you're going to watch a scary movie, follow it up with something positive. Don't just stick to a scare, because I don't want you going to sleep with that energy. Think about that. Where's the balance? Find time to make sure you're feeding yourself with some positive energy. I got reaching for my water. with some positive energy, something to feed your mind with something positive. And I consistently try to do that. I try not to spend too much time in the news. I never wake up and the first thing I do is watch the news. I always try to feed myself with balanced information so I can find perspectives that are probably don't align with everybody, but there's a balanced perspective. And then I look into the perspectives to the left and to the right. And then I try to come up with my own conclusion based on all the information. That's what I choose to feed my mind. I never trust one source for information. I always want to find it for myself. How do you manage that? What are you listening to? And I'll never glorify my show as the all be all know all of information and encouragement and inspiration. But I will tell you this, what you listen to matters. What you feed your mind matters. There are friends for a long time of mine that will listen to these radio shows of dudes who would be bashing other communities, women, kids. They should be bashing. I'm like, why would you watch that? Why would you feed your mind that? Because you are now taking on their narratives as part of your DNA. No, I'm not. I'm just listening to it. Yeah, but where does it go? It stays with you. Now that's going to be in your subconscious somewhere. What you just heard. Why would you feed your mind when you know he's trying to be funny, but he's saying and doing negative things? It's like allowing your kids to watch all these knuckleheads going out and doing nothing but pranks on their YouTube videos and getting likes. That's showing your kids, it's glorifying that all these stunts is what's good and what's positive, and getting this kind of attention is negative attention seeking, but they won't see it like that. They just see it as attention. Did you know that I learned over the past couple of weeks that there's actually a thing out there? It's a phrase that some of these YouTubers say, all attention is good attention. No, that's not what we're trying to teach our kids. We're not trying to teach our kids that negative attention seeking is good attention. You have to have balance. You have to know what you're feeding your mind. You have to know what, especially if you have kids or if you have people you care about, what they're putting into their world too. Your intellectual well-being is important. Who are you listening to? Who are you following? Who are you following? And those things are important when you're talking about building up your intellectual well-being. Always chase those things that are going to grow your mind, that are going to help you learn a new skill, a new tip, a new trade, a new perspective. I love challenging my perspective on things, and I don't use just AI to do it like a lot of people do. I like going to people who are known sources of this information and trying to challenge my own thought process on things. I love when people come in and don't agree with me versus the ones who always agree with me. And I also love having a growth mindset, which is what we teach and why it's so important, because with a growth mindset, I'm always believing that I can be better than I was yesterday. If you've seen some of the little clips I've created for my Facebook family, it's always different from the one I did a year ago. It's not the same thing. I'm trying to expand my horizons, grow, and to build something better, to do something unique to myself. So we talk about relational well-being. That was intellectual, what you feed your mind, who you surround yourself with, what are you listening to, what are you taking in, how are you building your mind up, how are you challenging your thought process, how are you making sure that you're not settling with information from one perspective, that you're challenging perspectives so that you can make your own decisions on things based on having all of the information. Man, I wish certain people in the world did that instead of just choosing a side. Anyway, I'll say this, relational well-being is building those deep relationships with people, cultivating empathy, looking for the win-win in relationships. Did you know that when we're doing the class and when we're teaching this, we explain that relational well-being is probably one of the most important aspects of the Spire model, because the world, you as an individual, connections are a deep part of your needs. Building those deep connections with people, having connections. That's why people, when they're in environments where they're not able to connect, that's why COVID was so miserable for a lot of people, especially the connectors, the people who loved being around and engaging with others, because it limited them. It stopped them. Their whole world, the whole way they were grown and raised and cultivated changed for that window of time. They couldn't be themselves. Can you imagine feeling like you're trapped in and you can't go out and love on people when that's what you love to do? You love being connected with people. And social media was a way of keeping people connected. That's why certain apps blew up while others died, because the ones that really connected people were the ones that were doing well. The one thing that's important about relational is not just the relationship you have with others, but it's also important to maintain and grow, cultivate, and love the relationship you have with yourself. Giving back to others is important. Loving on others is important. Building connections is important. But the connection you have with yourself is the most important. I tell people this when we're teaching the other class, right? You can't motivate others if you can't motivate yourself. You can never truly love someone else if you haven't figured out how to love you first. As Whitney put it, that is the greatest love of all, is to fall in love with the person you are, the skin that you're in, the person you've become, the person you want to be, the fight that you have, the energy you give, the energy you bring, your presence. When you fall in love with that, you have started correctly. Now, take that and go out. That is when we talk about relational. Yes, connections with other people, but most importantly, connection you have with yourself to know who that is that's showing up every single day to make those connections strong. Last is emotional well-being. I won't jump too much into it, but I am going to tell you understanding what your emotions look and feel like on you, how you navigate those things. The fact we experience 400 to 500 emotions a day, what that looks like on you when you're going through something. How do you get through it? Who do you surround yourself with? What are you giving back to the world? That dips a lot into emotional intelligence, was a whole nother topic for this show. But that is the SPIRE model. Spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional. I can't wait to see you next week. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. See you soon. Hey, it's a good. Arigato, thank you. Yatta! Thank you, my friend. See you soon.
Have a nice weekend.
You too. Thank you.